Hello everyone, it's your sister Roland, and all I need is a few minutes to talk about a back and forth that's been going on between these two young ladies up here who were once friends. I don't know what type of friends they were because that is something else. But the lady on my left, who's in the red with the little girl, goes by the name Vickycobb, and the one on my right, on my lower right, her name is Takalaaw, or something like that. So they've been having this back and forth from last night. They've been having this back and forth from last night. I got wind of it from B with the T, and then they was just telling each other business. So-called friends. It was a lot that was said, but it was just this part I want to zoom in on right here. So this is Takalaaw putting on a story to follow her other page. She was saying a lot of stuff on the main page, but she says to follow her on this page because this is what she was saying. So if you want, you can pause it to see exactly what she said, but in essence, she is saying that Vicky's daughter, who I believe is 4 years old, had a yeast infection. And she posted this where, she have like over 60,000 followers. So when Vicky got wind of this, you can pause it also to read. She was saying that she can believe, what she said about her 4-year-old. This lady used to watch her child. And that's something. And these two supposed to be friends. So here she shows how, they've been friends for a long time. As you see, she says, you can pause it and enlarge it. Most girls' caption be like, we've been through so much, but that don't apply to us because we don't even argue. It's scary how much our attitude are alike because we really don't be given a F and just living life and go with the flow at Takalaaw. That's when they were friends. And then she reposted that and she says, say how this girl, it hurt her so much because this girl was a snake. She was watching her child, and say she will never trust another person again. I know sometimes people, they like to say, oh, they don't want people who are argumentative, which is not good all the time. But whether you're in a friendship or an intimate relationship, and then you guys never, not to say argue, but even have a disagreement, like everything goes, the person never says, I don't like this, I don't like that, in a disagreement, not an argument going back and forth, cursing at each other. I'm not talking about that. But you're gonna have disagreements because we are imperfect beings. We're gonna do things, we're gonna say things that's not good. But if you have never had an argument or a disagreement, that is not good. Because most of the time the person is holding a lot of things in, and then one day they get tired and then they just blow up on you, and you thinking you guys were cool. You thinking you guys were good, you never argue, you brag about you never argue, and the person was holding up all kind of stuff inside them for you. So sometimes that's not a good thing when you see you have never ever, I don't say argue, we have never had a disagreement. I don't think you should be arguing. If you're arguing all the time, that's a problem. But a disagreement where you say, you know what, I didn't like what you do, and then you fix it, you have never had that, that is something. So I chose to speak on this back and forth. Vickycobb is friends with Jayda Cheaves, the young lady, the social media influencer that had a baby with little baby, and the Takalaaw girl, she's friends with Ari Fletcher. And they were saying all those stuff. I don't need to get into that, but why I really spoke about this is, when you have children, when you have kids, you don't know how your children's gonna come out. Sometimes people have a certain idea that children are gonna come out this way, and it doesn't. We never know how kids gonna come out. But how Vicky, if you see her child, she have, according to the society standards, she have the looser curl hair, where they would deem that as good hair, and then she's racially ambiguous. She's very racially ambiguous. And not to say, when you have children, you're supposed to, no matter how your child look, you're supposed to, protect your child. Be careful who's around your child or children, because you don't know people's intention. But specifically, when you have a child that's according to society standards, they have a certain look, that child, you really need to be careful with them, with certain people around you, because you don't know that person's heart. You may see the person's laughing up in your face. You've been friends for years, and then that person dislike you, hate you, because of the way your child looks, or because of certain things that you have. And we know people have kids for different reasons, and specifically when they choose to go outside of their race or whatever. People have kids for different reasons, because sometimes, a person, they fell in love with somebody, the person happened to be a different race, they didn't plan it, and then they have biracial children. But we know there are people who go out and seek a different race, or sometimes seek a lighter complexion, because maybe all their life they were, put down. They had low self-esteem. They had a low self-worth, and they know having a child with a certain race or a certain color or complexion, or a certain person with certain hair type. I mean, the stuff people do, that would validate them in a sense by their child, so they could show to people, this is what came out of me. Look at me. Look, I can have beautiful kids too. So we know that. And when people do things like that, they tend to not protect the child as a child should be protected, because they want, the person don't like you. You can feel, sometimes we don't know, sometimes we can sense stuff, but you still bring your child around them. You want to show off your child, your children. Not saying she was doing that, but this is what happens. This girl was watching her child. You don't know what she was doing to this little girl. And if you have little kids, it doesn't take that much for you to tell them some type of threat or lie, and then they believe you. The things my kids have told me, stuff people had told them, and they believed it until they opened their mouths, or I asked them and said, this is what the person said, and this is what I believe, for years. So she could have been thumping the little girl in her head, telling the little girl, oh, you think you pretty, you think you ugly, you're not pretty, and stuff like that. She could have been telling the girl any kind of thing. The mom wasn't there, because she was so-called thought this. If she didn't show the picture of this, the screenshot, how they were friends, like, you would have never know from the vitriol that was spewing out between these two ladies. You would have never known that they were friends. They were that close of a friend. For you to harbor all this vitriol, not saying that, Vicky wasn't doing her other stuff, but to attack a child, come on. To go after a child, and people can say, oh, that because they strippers, that's how them strippers get down. That's a lie. That's a lie, because I know professional women that get down like that. I know blue collar women that work in restaurants. It's a woman thing. It's this woman thing. The person, men do it too. Men, they jealous of each other, try to destroy each other, but women do it too. And it doesn't matter what industry, what class level they are. They do these stuff to each other. As I was saying before, I remember my sister, she has, all her children have different aesthetics, but they have longer hair, looser curls hair, and then with society, it's like two black people cannot have children with long hair. You can't have, if it's two black people, you have to mix somewhere to have a child with long hair. Two black people cannot have thing. That's what people think. We know that's what some people think. But she has a child that came out a certain way, different than the other children. And she's so ready to go to school, but she's not going to send her to school, because she said when you have kids, when you have a child that look a certain way, you have to be careful with them sending them to school if they cannot articulate. Just in case somebody want to do something to them, they are able to articulate. You know what, mommy, this is what this person did. She says that's why she hasn't sent her to school yet. So these things, many of these things I've learned from my sister. Because she's like, you have to be very careful. She doesn't let anybody watch her children. She doesn't take her children to anybody. She doesn't even have any baby showers. Because she said you never know people's heart towards us. And this is where a lot of people drop the ball, especially people who have biracial kids. I see they tend to more focus on, showing off the children. Not everybody. Showing off the child, doing all kind of stuff that they don't have any business doing, exposing the children to certain stuff and not protecting the child in the way that they should. not affirming them, because with biracial kids, if one child, whatever the race of the parent is, most of the time their culture does not accept that child, and then your culture don't accept that child. So you and your husband or boyfriend or whoever it is have to get together to affirm, to tell that child what identity that they are. So people won't come in, well, they're going to come in anyway and tell them who they are, because you as a parent, you already did your due diligence to affirm your child, to give them the confidence and the identity that they deserve. Because most of the time, biracial kids, they have an identity problem because they don't know where they belong. And that's one of the places where a lot of people drop the ball, and they're not protecting the child. You know what? Oh, I have a pretty child. Everybody want to just watch her and stuff like that. Everybody want to watch him and stuff like that. And then you don't know what people are doing to your children. Look at this. Look at this back and forth. This is disgusting. And what's so bad about it, because these both ladies were so close, people are going to believe. People are going, they're going to not give Vicky the benefit of the doubt. They're going to believe this girls because you guys were this close. So if she say whatever she says, people gonna to give you the side eye. People gonna believe it because why? You were close. And then this is another thing. People being friends for a long time, so they can say, oh, we've been friends for 5 years, we've been friends for 10 years, and then y'all don't even like each other, or one of y'all don't even like the other person, but you're so cool. Oh, we've been friends from middle school, we've been friends from high school, and then then you find years later, find out the person been sabotaging you, the person been doing stuff undercover, the person been doing all kind of stuff, was never your friend. So this is what I have seen. This is what I've learned from this back and forth. Doesn't even matter what other stuff that they were saying. Be careful who you keep your children around. And it doesn't matter how your child look, because a child may not be, according to society's standards of beauty, a beautiful child, a pretty child. But remember, children are a gift from God. God gives, like he says in his word, he says he gives every good and perfect gift is from God. So he's going to give you, children are not burdens. Children are a gift. When we raise them right and protect them as we should, we will see why God gave us that gift. But we see kids as burdens. We see kids as, disposable, as assets, stuff to bring up our status, or to bring up our value, bring up our confidence, to bring up our self-worth, whatever. But even if the child is not according to society's standards of beauty, that child has something God placed inside of them. They have a talent. They have a gift. They have something inside. We know not all people who are, according to society standards of beauty, are talented. They go someplace. They're smart and intelligent. That's those things. Those characteristics. A lot of different kids that look at different ways have those talents and gifts. So even if the child is not aesthetically beautiful or whatever, but that child has something inside them that is going to benefit society or destroy society too, according to how y'all raise them, how we raise our children. Anyway, that's all I have to say in the situation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.